Hey, we're gonna do a little more prep today. We are 1 week out from day one. So next week, next Thursday, the 20th is first day of summer. That is our day one. We're gonna start this. And this week you can really do some prep and explore how to set yourself up for success. So a couple more things I want to add about preparation. The first thing is that what you're doing is creating space. So we've been talking about a lot of the things that we're not going to do. We're not going to spend all this time on electronics. We're not going to spend all this time being distracted. And we're really going to plug in. You can't connect to yourself or to anyone else for that matter if you're constantly being pulled in all different directions and distracted. So we're creating some really nice space. And it's important to know how to create that space. And then it's just as important to know what you're going to plug into it. So with all that extra time and extra mental real estate and extra energy, thinking about what can you put into that, what you are going to do, not just what you're not going to do. What you are going to do in place of that is vitally important to this planning and making sure that you have it all down, you're ready to go for next week. So some questions you can ask yourself about knowing what you could plug into this, or being open to ideas coming in. That's the idea, right? Being open to inspiration. You want things to come in and inspire you and give you more ideas and get the creative juices flowing. So the questions you can ask yourself are, what is it that inspires you? And what are you doing to inspire others? It's a two-way street, right? If you want inspiration to be offered to you, you have to offer it out to other people. And so what you're contributing, what you're saying, what you're posting, what you're doing, so actions, words, behaviors, how you're engaging with other people, all of that matters. Is it inspiring or is it something else? These are the things you can get curious about, you can ask yourself about, and see where you land on all this and really explore it. Some of the other things I've been doing in addition to what I said in the previous video was I really started to think about how many situations can I make myself uncomfortable in. And so I'm going to continue to do this through the week, not just waiting until day one. I'm really looking at how many things actually feel uncomfortable. Is it that I'm anticipating discomfort in thinking about not bringing my phone or not having that access to that at certain places? And is the reality actually uncomfortable, or does it feel like something else? So I did that yesterday. I had a thing I had to do for a couple of hours. And partly logistically, but partly on purpose. I didn't have pockets. I didn't have a really good way to like hold my phone and do what I needed to do. I needed my hands available. I was being active. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to bring it. I didn't bring my phone. I was super uncomfortable at the idea of it. I had to think through all of the things that, okay, what if I don't have this? What if I can't answer my phone? What if... And I chalked it up to, it will all live for 2 hours and everything will be fine for 2 hours of me being really present and active and participating with other people. So that's what I did. So the discomfort was more anticipatory, and the reality was not that. There were a few moments where I had downtime and I noticed that my inclination was, oh, let me grab my phone, let me check my phone. And I didn't have it. So I had to entertain myself a different way, right? And it was great. It felt great. I felt calmer. I felt more relaxed. I felt more present. So the actual reality of the situation was not one of discomfort. And I felt really great after. And of course, went to my phone when I was done and checked it, and like nothing important happened. Nothing of consequence took place. I didn't miss anything. Nobody missed me. The world did not come crashing down. So something that might be good to think about over the week is even just entertaining the idea of, what if I did this without my phone? What if I did this without my computer or my tablet or whatever it is you're doing? So, just start exploring that mentally and then maybe test it out, because anticipatory thoughts are always anxious thoughts. Always. That's what they are. They're trying to plan out an unknown circumstance, an unknown future. And we know in our right mind that's not really possible, but your anxiety is going to want to do that. So that voice is always going to tell you that something could go wrong, or something's going to happen, or what if, and what if, and what if, and you could go down a million different rabbit holes with that. So coming into a different space to say, okay, well, the reality is it's probably going to be okay, or I'll probably be fine, or I'll be able to do a better job at what I'm doing if I'm not distracted by this thing. So things to think about, things to play around with. There's a lot of feeling attached to all of this. There's a lot of emotion, and that brings up thoughts and different things that are attached to all this stuff, which is what's making it hard to think about, or making it scary, or everyone thinks this idea is crazy and they don't want anything to do with it. All of that is fine. Just understand that we have a lot of attachments to this stuff that may not necessarily belong. And I know for me, one of the big things is I don't want to be pulled around by my device. I don't want to be controlled by it. I don't want to feel like I'm not having agency over myself because something else is, at play in my brain, in my physiology, and, controlling things and choices that I make. So I really want to take my power back. I want you to get your power back. I want to encourage everybody that might be feeling similar to how I've been feeling and what I hear other people talk about. Again, pass it on, share it with people, do it together. This is meant to be done in community and supporting one another. That's really important. So, really considering what you can do instead. Some ideas that came to mind, just to put it out there, get your wheels turning, reading books. We don't have a good attention span anymore. That's been researched. So you can take a look at that if you haven't seen that information already. But because of these short bursts of all the things on social media, it's just a muscle we haven't exercised, right? So going to the mental gym, if you will, and reading for longer spans of time. And you might have to work that like you would going and lifting weights. So you might be only able to read for a couple of minutes at a time, but you might notice that over the course of a couple weeks or a couple of months that you start to build that back up, and then you can sit and read for an hour or whatever amount of time you have, and you can attend to it, and your mind isn't in a million places and you have no idea what you just read for the last couple minutes, right? So reading is really important. That's like going to the gym for your brain and for your attention span. Doing crafts and artwork and things with your hands and building, all of that are really good things to, again, exercise. When we're on our electronics, we're not exercising those parts of our brains, and so they sort of atrophy in a way, and they pull back. And so reworking a lot of that. There's so much. I could have a million videos on all the benefits and what comes from that hand-eye coordination and using your brain and your hands together in those kinds of ways. Highly beneficial. Let's just leave it at that. And so anything that speaks to you that you've either done in the past and put down, or you've wanted to do, or you haven't been able to get to, now you're creating space and time to be able to bring that back in. Gardening, outside in nature, anything outside in nature, going for walks, playing in the garden, playing in the dirt is really good for you. It's really good for your brain. But being outside in general, wherever you love to be. Spending more time with the family, spending more engaged time with the family. How many times have you, like me, gone out to dinner or gone to a restaurant? There's a whole entire family sitting there, and every single human at that table has their face in a device. Now, I have kids. I get the whole something to keep them occupied, what have you. But helping them learn to exercise their muscles on keeping themselves entertained or learning appropriate behavior has value too. But essentially, no one's engaged with each other. So, and even people on dates or couples that are going out, and everybody's got their face in a screen. So, disengaging from the electronics, re-engaging with each other during that family time with our pets, taking the dogs outside and running around and whatever that might look like. But engaging with animals and nature are just really, really healing and helpful for everybody. Listening to music, dancing, moving your body in some kind of physical activity way. So exercise doesn't have to be heavy exercise. Yoga, meditation, any of these things to start to get everything to slow down. All right. You don't have to have your mind blank, but just slowing down and getting ourselves more plugged in to our inner workings and knowing what's happening inside of us. We're all out here, we're distracted by all the bells and whistles and all the things that are just too easy and too convenient. And putting some boundaries and some modifications around that will improve our health. It'll improve our mental health, our physical health, all around, everything. So thoughts, questions, feedback, share it all. These are the ways you can prep for the week. I'm gonna do a lot of that. I won't put a lot of material out there over the week, but when we kick off next week, I'll have some things out for you. So if anyone has questions or they want material to help with the planning, let me know, and I'll certainly create that too. All right. Good luck this week in your preparations, and talk to you all soon.